My girls, we're going out to this. We're all going out to Vivid. My girls want to get Vivid down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're all going to Creep. You can be touching like this.
I've been.
Diablo's Den, episode number 9. Happy New Year, motherfuckers. We got Eddie Leeway, Don Capria, and a surprise guest, Estevan Oriol from LA. It's on, nigga.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome
everybody?
to Diablo's Den, episode number 9. I'm your host. I'm your co-host, Jay Reason, and I'm sitting here with the man, the main guy, Danny Diablo,
What's
a.k.a.
up,
Lord
everybody?
Zach.
It's a little high. Hold on. Where's my thing? A little trebly. A little bit trebly. Little trebly. Treb.
Is that better?
Check. Is that better? Yeah. Sounds better right there, right?
All right. So here we go.
Treble these nuts, nigga.
Man, so we're really excited. It's been a little, we had a little break for the holiday. We're back with episode
Happy New Year.
number 9. You guys know the drill before we dive
I like
in.
that number 9.
Yeah, number 9.
Black. Oh, is that number 1 or number 9?
So we're going to...
Number 9.
Let's give our first... we got to pay the bills first, so let's give the top of the show to the one and only Oak and Crow Coffee, our guy Jake. Proud sponsor of Diablo's Den.
Oak and Crow Coffee.
Then why did
The
I buy
best damn
coffee before I
coffee
came here?
in the world.
So everybody go out to oakandcrow.com, and you're going to want to enter the discount code.
DMS.
That's going to save you 10% on Diablo's Dark Roast, which
anything that with those 3 letters behind it ruins your life anyway.
But it's going to provide you with a really good cup of coffee.
Yes, I keep you
on
up for
this
3
time.
days.
That's going to keep
Coffee
you.
and
So
Crow,
please,
Oak and
everybody.
Crow Coffee. Drink that Oak and Crow Coffee.
I want to shout out my boy.
Dark Roast. Diablo's Dark Roast.
I want to shout out my boy Sinji, who actually ordered. You know Sinji.
What's up, Sinji?
He ordered Diablo's Dark Roast and gave it as a Christmas gift to his a family member, and he loved it. So thanks for ordering,
Thank you, Sinji.
and supporting. So we're gonna dive right into the show. Go ahead, Isaac. What's going on, man?
You want me to say?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, how you been?
Just
Just drive right into the show.
well, this is the show, everyone. Yvonne, thank you.
Look at that, a nice
Look at that,
Coca-Cola
look at that.
product only.
Coca-Cola, only Coke products. in
Only
this
Coke
place.
products in this place.
Have
Coke
a Coke and a
boys.
smile and shut the fuck up.
So go ahead and introduce our. We have a really crazy.
This is crazy. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
It never
Is it ever is? I was gonna say.
Never
But
is.
check this out. I got 3 guys here who would only know each other from the bullpen of Rikers Island. It looks like to play the dress, but they all know each other somehow through me. Right?
Yeah.
That's
You've
how
been-
crazy.
And the music
The
scene.
music.
The common bond
is
of
me,
Danny
me.
Diablo.
So this is so crazy because like these guys, all 3 of these guys have affected my life in positive ways, maybe some bad ways too, but positive ways.
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
But listen, we'll talk later on. I'll get everything out. But all 3 of them, I love dearly. I consider them brothers. I look up to these people for advice sometimes, and they show me the ways. I'll get to it. But first of all, right over here is Eddie Leeway, everyone. Say hello.
Hi, everybody.
Eddie Leeway from Leeway.
Very happy to be here.
Over here is my brother, Don Capria.
Donnie.
Good greetings to all.
And over here from
This was a
special
good
guest.
surprise because we didn't expect to have him.
Me either.
and
He
I'm
told me.
honored. Go ahead. Who do you got?
I'm honored, and I'm just happy to see him because every time we see each other, it's like for like an hour, and I'm fucking banged out, and he's with his wife, and he's doing his thing. And I gotta go meet my girl. It's all craziness, and someone gets punched in the face, and I get locked up the next week. It's
So
like,
basically, a typical day
Typical
with
day.
Danny Diablo.
so, but the thing is,
And then I get called for bail.
one of the best guys from the LA street culture, Estevan Oriol, everybody.
Thank you.
You just hit a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Trifecta up in this bitch.
Yeah.
So you know how I like to go and start the show. Let's start with Eddie. Eddie, what have you been listening to, checking out? Anything new, old? Are you watching any shows, movies you've been checking out that you want
It's
to
really a lot of old R&B. I'm trying to practice to that now. I'm looking to cross over and do some other music besides
Like RuPaul?
what everybody else. Not RuPaul, but more like Major Harris. Major Harris
Yeah.
is
No, I'm saying
somebody-
you have a great voice. That's why you should always have been you should be doing more of like what's the homeboy that Timberlake's Justin Timberlake. You can sing like that, bro.
Man, but I don't get that opportunity
And
so
homeboy,
much.
the
I'm
other guy,
trying.
the guy I love, virtual insanity.
Jamiroquai.
Jamiroquai too.
Jamiroquai.
You have a voice like Jamiroquai, bro.
Well, I hope I have more skills and I'm a little cooler than Jamiroquai.
Oh, Jamiroquai can sing, bro.
No, I know he can sing. I'm not
He'll
dissing
battle
that.
you, nigga. He'll battle you.
But I'm not a hipster, so I'm not trying to play that role or be in that part of the industry. You know, I'm trying to find it.
What about you,
trying.
What about you,
Jamiroquai,
Donnie?
I love you, brother.
I'm not trying
What
to
about you,
compete
Donnie?
with
What do you-
I'm
Jamiroquai.
not dissing him, really.
What have you been
mean,
listening to? Checking out any new bands?
I got to plug the band I love, Concrete Dream.
That
There
was
you
a
go.
staple on our show, as you know.
Donnie,
Traps
Ron
the
Ski Train
Road.
Records.
When I'm not listening
One
to the
Bang.
first two Skarhead records,
Men of the
I'm listening
Wizard,
to Concrete Dream.
JFK.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Those are our boys.
Yep, those are the boys. Yep. New music is so fast. It comes in so quick now that it's really hard to keep track of what's going on. So I'm definitely like Eddie. I'm listening to older stuff. I'm still trapped in the 80s new wave.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel you. What about Esteban? What about you? Have you been checking out any new music or movies too? TV shows?
New movies, I would say 1917.
Oh, I just saw that. It was
what's
really
that-
awesome.
you
It was
took
dope.
your dad. You
I
took your
told
dad.
you-
Heard
yeah,
it's
I
gonna
took my
win
dad
an
on Sunday.
Sickest. Yeah,
Was
that
dope.
shit was badass the way they filmed it.
All one shot.
It was
Like one long shot.
Yeah, it was supposed to
Wait,
look
wait.
like that, but it was a lot of different.
Like the Prodigy video with Smack My Bitch Up, that one shot. That
Like,
whole
it's supposed to
thing.
be like one long shot.
Yeah.
She was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was badass. But music, I listened to my boy Baldacci out there.
Oh, the kid with the tattoos, right?
Yeah. And then a girl from New York named Maxine Ashley.
Maxine.
Dope.
Shout out to Maxine Ashley.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans up in this bitch.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then
Lobster was the record. Lobster.
yeah.
She was signed to Pharrell back in the day, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then I listened to Nipsey, rest in peace.
Oh yeah.
Peace.
And then pretty much like Maxine turned me on to Pop Smoke out here, so I listened to that.
Okay. Trap, right?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. Yep.
And then listen to older shit, classic
Yeah.
rock or old soul.
Oldies.
And they have this new thing out there in LA. It's called Soldies, and it's like new versions of it's new young kids doing old soul music.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
dope, man.
And
That's
they
what's
sound
up.
like from back in the day. They're playing all analog equipment, and this guy Joey Quinones, he fucking sick motherfucker.
Like
He gets down.
Temptations group or
Yeah.
OJ's, or is it more
All
like
that,
one
yeah.
vocalist?
I would say he has a band called the Sinceres.
Uh-huh.
They kick ass, but he does his own thing, and he knows how to play like every instrument. So he has his own thing, and then he has a band. But it's just some cool new shit, but with an old school flavor.
That's awesome. What about you, E? Any new music? Or new movies? What have you been checking out? You've been,
Check it out.
I know you were plugging you.
I'm not fuck that. I've been listening to the History of Hyenas podcast with Giannis Pappas and Chrissy D. These the motherfuckers, one's from Ridgeway, one's from Park Slope, and they are the funniest motherfuckers ever. They say what they want to say. They make fun of the Bay Ridge boys. They make fun of like Ridgewood guys never leave Ridgeway. Like they are the fun. Listen,
New York culture.
yo, these guys diss everybody, and they don't give a fuck.
Of course you love it.
So-
The
look,
story of corner kings.
No,
you know?
listen, these
Kings of
people-
the corner, but they never go to the city.
These guys are the fucking best ever. So I've also been watching a disturbing show called. Oh, sorry,
Drop this book. What's this book here that you just dropped?
the Colombo.
We're gonna
book.
get to that.
Listen, so I been watching a thing that fucking really bothers me, but I had to watch it. My girl the millennials got me into it. My girl.
The Cat Killer Show.
No, the fucking the TV show You.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
fucking listen. It bothers me because
Yeah.
listen, this shit really.
the writers from Rise from Westchester.
Well, I'm gonna punch that nigga in the face when I see him.
Man, he's big dog.
Well, I would say like this: this you thing is like a white nigga from I don't know where he is,
From wherever.
like a hipster, and he's like he kills bitches. What? Listen, so I'm saying he kills me, he falls in love, and then he kills bitches. He's a serial killer. He hates women. He had a weird life, but then he takes some people's identities. But it'll be like this, when you know how creepy guys would be like. Yeah, the
Stalker.
Stalker. They're like the
Yeah.
girls at the coffee shop. He goes, I didn't know you worked here, but then he gets a job.
Yeah, and he just
And I don't understand that kind of villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand because my shit is easy.
that kind of villain.
Or a bad guy. In my world, you did this. You know you're not supposed to do this. And you know there's some politics, and we'll take care of it. In my mind, the only thing I'm doing is $2,000 for a lawyer, 6 months Rikers Island. It's worth it. Let me do it. Right? So, and this guy is like,
He's sneaky.
I'll go and fucking lie in his mother's coffee, had a heart attack, then he'll come there and do it, and hit with AIDS needle while he's looking at, like, visiting his mother. Then I'll fucking take his son and throw him in the
Very
thing.
sneaky.
You know, it's like, and they're all people that do it, especially white people that do it, really fucking scary. So I'm. In my world, it's
Because you don't expect them to do it.
it's like the guy like it's like you ever see that movie?
He really
with
likes the show.
Adrian Brody, which I met from you one day, and my share at this show. Adrian Brody, he's from Woodhaven.
Yeah.
So Adrian
Yeah.
Brody, and he saw my son. We were bugging out. But Adrian Brody and Predator. Remember Predator?
Yeah.
The Predators, the movie he was
Yeah.
on. He's the Predator. Remember the little white kid from the little.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What TV show he's from? That guy, the '70s show. That little fucking creep.
Yeah.
He was the worst one. He was like gave the girl the little flowers. He was stunned. He's gonna rape her. I was like, that's the nigga. He's like, why am I doing it? But I said, that's the guy. That's the guy's fucking your girl.
Bill
But,
Cosby.
like,
Bill
he's like, oh, he's
Cosby.
gay. He's not gay. All of a sudden, you open the door. He's fucking your girl. But he's like, every time you work, he's it's me and fucking Ray. He's my gay friend. You know, they pretend and then you break up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
he's
the
the-
writers.
No, I hate those niggas.
The
Those
writer's
niggas are
gay.
worse.
The writer's gay. From you.
So I'm gonna.
He's married.
You know
with
what
a
I'm saying?
couple
Bro?
kids.
That's life is crazy. It's like certain people you understand. Like if my all right,
What do you love more, season 1 or season 2? Because
listen,
you love the show.
I'm in season 1 right now, and it's shit.
It goes to LA in season 2, so look out.
Yeah,
Esteban.
No, he's in already in LA. I'm
he's
there.
in LA? All
He
right,
killed
season two.
the guy's thing, so he killed the Cuban
Spoiler.
girl. No,
Spoiler alert, they all
Yes,
died.
sir. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that it's a sad thing when people do shit like that. It's like meticulous and it's like
They should just be upfront about killing people.
it's about
right?
it's like keep me on the checker space. They're in chess, right? I'm checkers. I'm like, yo, digga.
I'm gonna.
They're like going this way, that way. I'm just jumping like this.
I'm gonna plug
So stream. You could stream you now on Netflix.
on Netflix. They didn't pay for that sponsorship.
It's called you know.
You.
It's called.
I
I
You.
said you could stream you now on Netflix.
I'm gonna plug two bands though, brand new.
I'm
shit,
also
all
shout out to Crime Apple.
So first I want to plug a band out of the Northwest called Change. Check them out, Change Hardcore. It's got my boy Aram and Chris from Champion who are on Virginia. They got a new band. It's awesome. So check them out, Change Hardcore on Instagram. Shout out Aram, Champion. I also want to shout out Ill Communication, new band from Connecticut. So check those guys out. My boy Cesar, Ill Communication CT at Instagram. And then I'm going to shout out our new release. This one's a brand new release on Static Air. My homeboys, Hot Husbandry, brand new vinyl. Pre-order that shit, staticairrecords.com.
Art looks good.
So I'm just plugging myself, and the whole Voice of Reason catalog for the first time ever is now available on streaming. So thank you, shout out to everybody who wrote and asked about those records finally out. So
I want to give a shout out to Joe Pesci. He did a hell of a job as Russell Buffalino in The Irish.
Shout out
true,
to Joe
shout
Pesci.
out.
He's the only
Shout out to
one
Melissa
that really
Prophet.
did his
Shout out
job
to
in
Melissa
that
Prophet.
We love Melissa. We love
So
you.
now that we've gone through this, let's jump into the show. We're gonna start off on a sad note. Rest in peace to our boy
Vinnie
Go ahead,
Value.
Vinnie Value. So
Vinnie Value.
From Warzone, bro.
go ahead, talk about that a little
Rest
bit.
in
easy,
peace,
you know?
young man.
This,
Eddie, if you want to talk a little bit about,
Well, Vinny, I didn't really know that much, quite honestly, and I kind of feel like when we lose another brother out of our thing here in New York, that there's kind of like a bandwagon thing about it. So it's nice that we're giving him props and paying our respects here, because I kind of feel a lot of people like just use it on social media for some other purpose and reason. You know what I mean? So, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard, for any of us. We're not getting any younger, and we're losing people every year now.
well, we're getting old, nigga.
we're getting old. Yep.
Is that what
Yeah.
it is?
We're getting
Yeah.
old, but check this out. It
Also
sucks
live rough
because
life.
the good guys usually die. The guys out there, the piece of shit, they're doing the same shit, and it's
so
still there.
So that means I'm
Evil.
going to live till about 95, right?
Like-
Evil
like-
don't die.
101 probably. Eddie.
Evil don't die. Ed, you're doing good. You're only 26 now, right?
Yeah,
You just
about
look
that.
old.
So yeah, just some sad news. We just want to pay
Yeah,
our
Vinnie,
respects
bro.
out to
Vinnie was a
Big
good,
shout out to
good
Vinnie.
guy, and he had kids, so that's what
kids.
hurts me more than anything. And he,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything about whatever, but I'm saying that it just sucks when a good guy dies. And I see Vinnie at every show for the last.
We just saw him at your show.
Oh, I just saw my show.
Yeah,
He
so I
was
was gonna
stand
talk-
up. He was
yeah.
a quiet guy. He never got involved with the fuckery and everything else like that. So it is a sad thing to see
I
that.
first met Vinnie when he was playing in Gray Area, had just started. Voice of Reason was a band. So yeah, he was a good dude, came right up, always super nice.
Stand-up guy.
Stand up. So, just a quick moment to on Diablo's send a shout out.
Shout out to Vinnie.
So talking about that, we had just seen Vinnie at the Crown and Thorns show that you just played. Let's talk.
Just
That
sold
show
out.
was
Just sold out Amityville. I
that
had
shit
flu.
was awesome. So
Tell 'em what happened.
Yeah, Yvonne and I drove down.
Yvonne,
Shout
tell
out
how I killed
Yvonne.
that shit.
Drove out
It was a
to.
great show. It was awesome.
He said it was a great show.
Damn.
So we drove down from Connecticut, and that place is packed. It was Killing Time, and my man here with Crown and Thorns,
Killed that shit.
Hangman played,
Hangman.
and ruled them all. So that shit was tight.
Two bands were good. Also, I had the flu.
But you killed it. I mean, dude, that
Tell
show.
me something I don't know, nigga.
Because the Crown of
Tell
Thorns
me some-
record is, the fluctuation of your voice. The flu probably helped, because you have a little
Well, at least
you have
some-
melodies going. You have melodies going.
Yeah, see,
The
I
newer
tell
shit-
you
the newer
look at me
shit's
right now.
hard.
See, I'm saying, like, the new shit's hard, but the
The
old
old shit's
shit.
hard. The old shit has more melodic feel.
You know what happened? Because that's my first heartbreak music I ever wrote. Then I said, "Fuck these bitches," and just write some hard shit.
Yeah.
Kids were going fucking nuts, man. That shit. That
They
shit
were
was
going nuts,
awesome.
and it's good seeing Anthony Caminelli. That's like my old. When I was growing up, that's like my brother from Jackson Heights, Corona. So it was good seeing him with like family. I used to date his sister, and
I hope his wife is doing better too.
yes,
'cause I
like,
know
you
she's
know,
been
I
going
mean,
through some stuff.
he's a great guy, and it's just cool to see people in your life and be like, "I love you." I told him I love him, and he said, "We love you." We hugged. It was just like, because when you get older, you move out of the neighborhood, do this and that. Then like, we looked at each other like, "Look, we do music still. We do construction." His father got me in the union in 1992.
Wow.
The
Bricklayers.
year I got stabbed, and the year that my girlfriend was born.
Shout out to Alice.
So, and since our last recording, you did a
Shout
tour.
out to Storm. Yeah.
Since our last recording, Skarhead did a tour with MOD Classic lineup. How was that?
Yes.
Classic.
It's better than doing the other tour before that. I'm just saying right now, I'm very humbled in life, with touring wise, because like being an underground artist, it's just cool that I get the props, but still, it's. I'm just telling you right now. Listen, as I get older, I love.
It's easier to record a podcast than to go.
It's easier to be Danny Diablo and do a hip hop set and be like, fuck these niggas around me, my band members. Because everyone has a girlfriend or a wife or kids or a problem, and they got to hear that shit in the van right here and be like, yo, fuck up, bro. Your wife's sucking 4 dicks now. While you're here, so shut the fuck up, just deal with it.
Man. Damn. Well, let's jump into the show. Let's talk-
You see one of the band members like this holding the window, just crying?
Let's get
Eddie,
started.
I want to know tell everybody a little bit about what you're up to now and a little bit about Leeway, for those who don't know, who might not be familiar with you. Just give us a quick little.
Well, the month of December sucked. All right, I'll be flat out. I really came close to a nervous breakdown, and as I got out of that, I had the opportunity to relaunch my podcast.
Awesome.
And instead of doing like the usual industry stuff, I wanted to focus and make the content more about human issues and the challenges that we all go through, not just as musicians, but, the things that go on with our family and loved ones.
Like-
it doesn't have to be addiction,
Like a Dr.
mental
Phil?
health.
Like a hardcore Dr. Phil?
You know what? If you hear the first, hear the first half of the interview that I did, the first interview, which starts on episode 3, that's kind of like I thought of myself. That, you sound like you're trying to be fucking Dr. Phil of NYHC. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
How do
But
you feel?
I couldn't help,
Oh, shit.
adding to what she was saying and talking about the challenges and tragedies she endured before she was able to
The guest. You
get
brought
out of
Where can
prison.
what's the name of the
parole.
podcast?
It's simple. It's the Eddie Leeway podcast.
All right, good.
Oh,
so
thank you.
People can check that out too, because
I didn't hit it 3. I guess I was just a 2 because I didn't hear any horns.
So Eddie, can we talk about the beginning of Leeway and how the idea came together, like that whole process? Like, how did you get in? Actually, before the band, how did you get into the kind of music, like in the scene?
Queens, baby.
Through Crowd, one of the first hardcore
Story of
punk
Queens.
bands. And I started, after turning 15, I started breaking night and going to A7s or just hanging out downtown. AJ and I talked about, doing a band together, and we eventually linked up along with Jose Ochoa on bass, who went to school with him, and neighborhood guy, Sasso Matroni.
What you write?
Well, I think he wrote Sasso.
Yeah, he was the old school writer.
Yeah. So, we did our thing. We had a little bit of success and attention, but because of our record deal and the intrigue and fuckery, we all split up, I think a lot of people want to blame me for all of that, but, there was a lot of other business issues and things like that I wasn't happy with at the same time.
I want to tell you something right now. All I know, when I was a little kid, I was in high school. I went to high school with your sister. We're sisters. I went to Bryan High School, the best of the world.
Yeah.
Look at this right here. So I'm saying. So
I went to Bryan,
Jenkins,
too.
going to Bryan's. So I remember looking out the window and see this nigga just walking down the block all the time. Like, that's Eddie Leeway. I was like, yo, I want to be just like that.
Well, the first time I saw
Staring out the
Danny, he
window.
was shorter than me. He was just all red hair
the
and teeth
subway.
on the train.
Oh my God! I was a little kid.
Yes.
Yo, you can't. We were stuck in fucking hour in Brooklyn.
Queensboro Plaza.
Remember that? And you came up to us like, yo, Eddie Leeway.
I don't know where you were going, but I know I was going. I was going nowhere fast. I'll leave it as simple as that. But
Eddie-
after I broke
Danny
the
was
band
like, I
up
wanna
in
be like that.
2006, it was important for me to make a
learned it from
comeback
you.
after going through my challenges with mental health and addiction.
Broken
And
neck.
I wasn't done, and the broken neck. Yeah. So I wanted to make this happen, because it's really one of the only things I got right in life. You know what I mean?
Yo, you
So
made a comeback, man.
Yeah, yeah. and
That's
I'm lucky
hard.
to
That's
have
hard.
that.
That's hard to fucking like in life and music. So
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I feel very blessed, and that's why I want to share that with an audience through the podcast. I don't want to turn it into the Eddie Leeway Pity Potty podcast.
Right.
But, we started talking about my issues. Now I'm hoping to have interviews with people that gone through the same challenges, and have success afterwards. What? I want to cover other things. I want to talk about gambling addiction, spousal abuse.
Queen shit.
Queens.
Queen shit.
Exactly. Because we all endure it, or we know somebody going through some stuff, and fuck unity. I'm about community. You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
Because there's too many people using that unity word, and perpetrating frauds.
What do you think about that, Donnie, when you hear a statement like that from
Unity
Eddie?
versus community. I mean, it kind of, for me, what I'm reading is it goes back to your original statement about the death of Vinnie and how kids on social media, there's a lot of people that tailgate these movements and have absolutely no idea. It's like the reporter that goes up to someone and starts talking to them about some incident that just happened, and that person has no fucking idea, but they're there
Or any
protesting it or
feeling, they
anything.
just want ratings.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
want attention.
Yeah, there's
a lot of these people.
a lot of bandwagon.
But you know what's crazy about life? What happens now? I see, especially in New York shit, like when people like something happens, and they you can't say that. That's why I love the podcast.
Sensitivity, yeah.
The sensitivity, like you can't say, like you can't say fag. I'm the most like you can be whatever you want. If you don't hurt animals and children. And women, but some women should get fucking. If there's some evil bitches out there should get a headshot.
There's just evil
You see, the
people
Queen
out
of
there.
England was a fucking crazy bitch back in the days, right? They got to kill that bitch, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying, hey, there's little exceptions. But I'm saying, you don't hurt women, children, and babe, and
Well,
and
words are,
animals. I'm just saying, it's like. I say bitch ass nigga. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? It's like it's how can you say it? And always the same people that say you can't say that. It's some fucking white dude from South Dakota or something.
What do you
and
think?
then there's that guy that's being completely sensitive and not saying any of these words that people call hateful, and he's going around and he's the lead guy on the show You, and he's killing girls.
So what do you think? What do you think about everything that was?
He knows L.A. changed. You see- you
It's
see-
a lot of a lot of information, but it's a lot of drama right now.
Yeah.
You know? Everybody's so pussy. You can't
It's
say
a pussy.
nothing no more. You know, you're like,
Yeah, there's
It's
some
like,
SJW trying to call you out for something all the time.
They can go on Twitter five years ago. Well, he said this. You know why
yeah,
he's
they're
just saying?
pulling up shit from 10, 20 years ago when there wasn't all this,
that happened last
you
night
know,
with me.
conscious shit.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up, you know? Like,
Yo.
like I was watching a video like of Sean Connery where he talks about slapping his girl in the face. And they've been married for 31 years.
You just have
That's
to
wild.
slap
the shit out of you.
Yeah. But like, you know, like 31 years of marriage alone is hard as fuck, you know? But 31 years of it, you know, what's the secret?
Right.
I don't know, you know, but
Every once in a while, you got to slap a hoe.
Well, listen, I'm going tonight. I know how I'm doing. Yo, let's say something. Each second, something. Yeah, that's so crazy.
But check this out. In New York, we grew up nigga, not nigger. Nigga was
And you can say, you know
an
why?
ambiguous word. It's like a condom. It comes in many shapes, sizes, and colors. And that's the
I haven't
bottom
used a
line.
condom since
You
89.
could call a Chinese guy a nigga. I get called nigga more than I think other people of color get called nigga.
But
I gotta
Eddie,
live with it.
Eddie, you're part Puerto Rican. No one knows that.
Some do.
But I'm saying that's just so tell these people you're part
In,
Rican.
in
No
New
one-
York, it always
Cállate, no
it
jote.
was more than a black thing in New York. It always was.
Muy bien.
it's in the hood.
It was the hood thing.
Yeah,
it was a
like
total
the
hood
hood.
thing. Street slang.
I want to jump in really quick into just
Jump,
jumping off.
nigga!
Well, jumping from what Eddie said, how he got into and stuff like that. I asked him, how did you get involved into the photography end and then taking that
Your dad, right?
into the music scene?
Yeah, my pops, he was a photographer, more like a documentary style photographer, and I was going on tour with House of Pain. I was a tour manager
awesome.
of House of Pain from 92 to 94.
Yes.
Then I was a tour manager for Cypress Hill from 94 to 2005.
And you're a bouncer too.
Yeah, and before that, I was working at the clubs. That's how I met all the guys. So at the time when I started going on tour with House of Pain, my dad was like, you know, you live a pretty cool lifestyle. You're on tour, you know, living like a rock star, you know, going to all these countries and cities and shit. And then when you come home, you're into your lowrider car club in East LA. You know, you should take pictures of that shit and document it.
Should be capturing it.
And at first I was like, you know, the only photographers I knew were like fashion people or paparazzis and shit like that, or tourists. And I wasn't into either of those things. So, you know, of course my dad was a photographer too, but I wasn't too hip on, you know, documentary style and all this. So once I started going on tour and coming back to East LA and doing the low riding shit, I ended up taking pictures of it, and it took a minute to get used to the camera and people around me to get used to it. But after a while, it you know, became easy and it flowed real good, and I started working with magazines. And
Tell them who the people, the clientele that you worked with, the famous people. Tell just some people, famous people. Kim Kardashian,
yeah, Kim Kardashian, I shot her back in the day.
Snoop Dogg.
To me,
And-
my biggest ones
Yeah, who
are
was-
De Niro and Pacino.
Yeah.
for me.
insane.
I remember the party. Remember the
For righteous kill.
And,
He shot the big poster.
Right under that is, you know, the Dennis Hopper, rest in peace, and then
Rest in peace.
you know, it goes all the way across the board with actors and the hip hop guys from Eminem, 50 Cent, Dre, Snoop,
Amazing, man.
all those, you know.
One of the
Yeah, I
best
mean, I've
photographers
known
in
your
the world.
name
Yeah.
for like forever, so it's cool that you're here. That's like a really good surprise, man.
And documentaries and books, right?
Yeah.
You've been working on a lot of stuff.
Got a documentary coming out called LA Originals at South by
sick.
Southwest in 2 months. So
That's awesome.
keep working.
So and then Donnie, for you in the middle, it's kind of crazy because you got like a hardcore and a film thing, and
Wait.
Donnie's like the perfect balance of
Listen,
like that kind of.
Donnie is the least normal guy of these dudes.
Yeah,
I'm telling you straight up, 'cause I know this guy.
I know that too.
So listen, I'm gonna tell you, I want to put some.
With a strict vocabulary.
Listen, Donnie might talk well and clean up good, but I'm just saying he's one of us. So Donnie, before he met me, you want to explain how
Hudson Valley hardcore.
No, listen. He's a Westchester upstate.
Yep,
like,
Westchester upstate guy.
He likes all those bands up there, Overcast,
All the
you know,
metalcore
all the
bands
metalcore
that you hated.
bands. I hated. But,
Yep.
No, but shout out to homeboy, the singer. What's his name? Nice guy.
Brian
Oh,
Fair.
Brian Fair, that's our
Brian,
guy.
nice guy.
Shout out,
Yeah.
Brian.
We like Brian.
Yeah, I love Brian.
Yeah.
So listen. Here it goes.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Oh, stop!
Can't even say anything nice.
Listen, so check this out. Donnie was the worst mistake, or was the double-edged sword for Donnie.
Yeah, I got 2 people who got in touch with me. Right when Blindside, the original Blindside from New York, was breaking up.
You were playing drums.
I was playing drums for them, and I was still jam. I was in my early 20s.
What happened? You just came out from somewhere.
No, not at this time. No. I'm talking Skarhead right now.
Oh.
Like, he just can't wait to get to that part. I know.
Wait, you went before to that too. You went from there to Skarhead.
That was in high school. It was like right out of high school. Kids make mistakes when they're young, all right?
Yeah, well, Skarhead's the second mistake you made after that.
Yeah, I made some mistakes when I was younger. Those are supposed to be stricken from the record.
Graffiti writer too.
Yeah, graffiti writer. So I knew about Ezak before we ever met. It was like most kids in the hardcore scene.
Yeah, legend.
He's a legend, and the graph part of it. I came from a very big graph movement in Westchester, probably the biggest movement. Like we had, Sess, Vet. Shout out to Sub.
Tony.
All the great writers that came from Westchester, I was part of that breed, and I was in the music scene. A lot of, as we know, hardcore births a lot of big graffiti writers. So I knew about Danny, and then I think it was at a show. We probably played a show together. It was a Crown of Thorns show, and Mike Gitter was at the show, and they were telling me how Skarhead was going to be looking for a drummer after Goat. So then I talked to Frank Pallett. Shout out to Frank from The Chance. And then I got on the phone with Tim. And, Tim was like, you want to do this? And I was like, fuck yeah. So,
poor guy.
So poor guy. in 2000, I started on a different trajectory that changed my life for the worse forever.
I remember.
Yeah. That's weird, but Skarhead in 2000 was pretty bad, too.
It was bad.
Puerto Rican Mike?
It was really bad.
It was
no, I mean, if you want to write a book about how horrible and the debauchery and the pain and the stress and the fighting and the drugs.
And he sang on the record.
I mean, if you were to want to really take 1 year of a person's life, just go to 2000.
Yeah.
And just look at what Danny
all
did
these
that
punk
year.
rock bands that they talk about how crazy, no one's crazy as Skarhead. We were fighting, whatever. I'm saying we were going through shit, and that tour alone, you had the best times of your life.
It was good and bad. Yeah. It's a gift and a curse to be alongside you.
Yo, that's a roller coaster. You gotta have lows to get
wait. Me and Donnie always talk about stuff, and that's the like later on we'll talk about it. Like, I want to plug your book first, and we talk shit later.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a tie here on this side of the table.
Oh, somehow this.
So this side of the table we have a mob aficionado who he and I, whenever we get together, we're definitely talking gangster stuff because we both are avid readers, and we love the New York, especially the New York gangster profile stuff.
I would love to get my walking tour back because a lot of the landmarks that I did take my customers to are slowly eroding in the city. So I need to relaunch that as well while I have the chance. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, so I was going to say, on this side of the table, so Eddie was, one of the first people who was super excited when I told him I was doing the book, and as I worked through the process of the book, which took like 3 years. So I wrote
plug the name too of the book real quick.
I wrote Colombo, the Unsolved Murder. It's
Colombo.
a life story of Joe Colombo, and I wrote it with his oldest son, Anthony.
Shout out to Anthony.
Yeah, shout out to Anthony. Rest in peace.
That's a real G.
And I knew from my days, I had met Estevan many years ago, and through his work, I probably saw what I knew as in modern day world, and I don't know everything about photography, but I'd never seen anybody shoot gang culture.
Yeah, his stuff is so sick.
Estevan.
So many people. Hold on. So many people bite off him. It's not funny.
We talked about it the other day.
No, and I started laughing because some of the guys would bother with me, and he'd be like, "Yo, love your work," and that's about look at him like this. Like, yeah, thank you. Yeah. That's how the guys biting shit.
So as being a fan of his and getting to work with him, it's a blessing. We've done stuff together.
The first time we got him, like we came out there and I met him.
Well, we could do the meeting on that, but to quick tie this all in, I called him up and I said to him, look, we don't have a ton of money, and I know you're worth a ton of money always, but I said I would love you to shoot Anthony, And, you know, he was like, let's do it. And he flew into New York, and we went to Central Park. It was the first time Anthony had returned to Central Park since his father was murdered there 40 years prior. And he pulled out the camera, film camera, and Columbus Circle, and we shot a bunch of photos. And then he got to spend a lot of time with Anthony before he passed. And I told him, I said, I'm going to make you one promise. And I kept to this promise. You're going to be the only photographer in his adult life that takes pictures of him. So it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Took a lot of great photos.
Can I
of
offer
him.
a synopsis to the
Yeah,
book?
please,
Sure,
Eddie. Please.
sure.
Basically, there hasn't been a book done on Joe Colombo as far as somewhat biography, but this was one of the most powerful historic shootings in all of OC history based out of New York. Joe went after the feds and went after a lot of the higher powers for the Italian-American community. And as he was trying to do that, some of the powers that be in the other LCM families weren't happy with him because everybody was supposed to get a taste of this organization. Donnie covers pretty much 3 of the, what's the word I'm looking
Conspiracy
for?
theories.
Yeah, of why he was shot and what the main reason was. So whether you think it's Crazy Joe Gallo getting, black convicts from upstate when he was doing time to do this shooting, because the shooter was named Jerome Johnson. It's either that, some people think Carlo Gambino had him whacked because he was supposed to get a piece of the Italian-American proceeds. And
then there's the FBI theory.
yeah, the FBI.
Shit was the feds.
Italians thought, like a lot of LCN guys thought the FBI had a hit squad between the 70s.
They
and
did.
They
They
most
definitely did.
The information.
And I'll be shot tomorrow for this.
Now the information, not to go all over the book, but I know podcasts are built for conspiracy theories because this stuff's unpopular. So, in 1971, about 7 months after Joe was shot, these students broke into an FBI office in Pennsylvania, which was not like a powerful FBI. It was just like a real small FBI office that was in a government building in PA, but they knew feds were in there because the feds were spying on kids in school.
It was like an underground satellite office.
Right. So this was where COINTELPRO first became to the public. So these kids pulled out of one file cabinet. They ran with a bunch of stuff, and it just so happened that in this file cabinet there was a clandestine operation within the FBI called COINTELPRO that was, it's on paper, and it talks about the illegal spying on American citizens, the Black Panthers. They actually killed a Black Panther leader, and this is only the stuff that they got to bring to the public. So then when I started doing research, and you get FOIA documents, you get shut down in a lot of areas, but you start to learn that they were, at that time, Hoover had mirrored what the CIA was doing in other countries, and he started programs within the United States to spy illegally on citizens and kill people.
Yeah, even people like MLK, Martin Luther King, they were trying to find a way to discredit or take him out as well.
That's what. Listen, to have a great country, you need to make power moves.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just telling you, the people like us, the government. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. If you were in charge of the government, you wouldn't last one day, bro. I'm saying
it
the
ain't for
world,
snowflakes.
The world is fucked up, and it's like when all these people say stop this, and they're like the guy comes back from war, and they're like spitting in Vietnam, or fucking now the kid's back, like fucking pussy, like you can't do that. The girl, meanwhile, the old man, like 85 years old, you're like, yo, I'm not political. I don't give a fuck about politics, but if someone, I'm not with Trump. People say I don't give a fuck about that stuff, but Trump's from Queens. Give a shout out. I'm saying, but besides that, I'm saying I don't care about that or whatever. But as a you should back. Like the old school guys, old war veterans, they get mad. They should back the president because he's part of the United States.
Well, there's a disconnect today also with that. The
they're pussies,
patriotism,
but they're little pussies.
You know.
These kids are pussies.
I was the
Never
last
said anything.
generation that had to sign up for selective service just in case there was a draft and we went to war. When I turned 18 in '83.
I don't want to stray too far from the book, though. So just to go back to what Donnie was saying. So, just real quick, where can people find the book too? Just I don't think you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on Amazon and you type in the name Colombo, the Unsolved Murder, that's probably the easiest and safest place for you to get a copy of the
so
book.
Donnie also does films and stuff. Are you expanding?
Wait.
Whoa.
All right, buy the book. Let's talk about
But I'm also going to be doing a signing too. I got to plug.
When's this?
I'm going to be at Mob Movie Con at Harrah's in
What's
Atlantic
this?
City in April, which is the guys that did Sopranos Con. They're doing Mob Movie Con.
I'll be with you.
So I'll have a booth at
I'll
Mob Movie
be
Con.
with
Shout
you.
out
I'll
to
show up.
shout out
I
to
have
Jackie
a-
O, who's going to
I'll
come with
do
me,
one
and
of my poker
Omerta,
weekends.
and
The
Isaac.
Shark's gonna be there?
Shark will probably be there. Yeah, we're gonna bring a gang of people and have fun.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Shark, Mike Panini.
Yeah.
Interesting fact, after Colombo was shot, they got to Crazy Joe on April 7th, 1972 off of Hester
That
Street.
nigga was hard.
Umberto's Clam House was in a different location.
Yeah, on
After
Hester
the
and
shooting, they
Mulberry.
moved it.
Yep.
But if you go to Hester Street in Mulberry, you could see Umberto's still in the corner of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
They filled it in. But long story short, he was shot on my 7th birthday. His birthday was April 6th. He was out with his new wife and stepdaughter and friends and Pete the Greek, his bodyguard. And
Yeah,
even
shout
though
to
Matty the Horse Sword.
even though Frank Sheeran says he's the
He
one
did
that
not.
whacked him,
Frank
I know.
Sheeran loved the movie, but Frank Sheeran did not.
Frank
have
was
anything to do
looking
with
for
it.
a payday for his kids while he was dying. That's
Yeah.
just the bottom line. None of that shit is real. Maybe he did paint houses, but he didn't paint those houses.
All right, check it out. So let's get to this. From Skarhead, you go to Skarhead. You got a crash course in touring
Right.
in life.
Right. And that was the last tour that I ever did.
The way every boy should grow up.
No, I mean I ended up doing pop tours later
Then
on.
you became my manager,
Yep. I started managing the band.
and that's how. So I went to 2001. I went out to the West Coast with a demo.
Well, before that, Operation Ajax.
Oh, tell me
You know,
Operation
so
Ajax.
so you know, Danny had decided he just wanted to stop doing music altogether.
Because I had a crazy bitch.
I remember.
Went out and
Yeah, he had a succubus.
She ran me over in a car.
You were
She
dating a
ran me over.
succubus. Like all men, you know, you fall in love with this thing between a girl's legs, and you just think it's the most amazing thing in the world, and you need
She
nothing
was
else.
a beautiful woman, but I don't
Crazy.
know.
She was
no,
fucking-
I'm not
she was
saying
crazy.
it's bad, but I hope she has a
crazy.
good life. But the bitch ran me over, and I still, when she ran me over
tried
that
to
day,
stab me,
she tried-
stab
no,
you.
Yeah, listen.
God
I
damn.
punched Joe Bruno in the face once. I had to
Yep.
punch poor Joe Bruno in the face.
Yep.
And my
What's up, Job?
That's my father's friend.
We can get into that. We can get into that night. That was a great night. That was the
Wait.
interview for
But
Nada.
before that, I'm just saying,
So Operation Ajax.
we got out there, and she, I basically fell in love with a model girl, and she, whatever, but she ran me over.
Yeah, no.
Right up to Grand Central, and I still went on a date with another girl that day.
So there was an eerie.
Where is she today?
You know that friend eerie feeling.
God
So
knows, right?
I go out to
Who
visit
cares?
him to see him. So I go out and we're in
I-
Amish country, Pennsylvania,
But
and it's crazy. Like literally, I thought he was gonna get these soon, you know, because the Jews have them. So maybe he's gonna get it, you know, Jewish Amish.
Yeah,
So
me and Ajax.
I'm there, and he's got the dogs running in the field, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm
Was
just
it like a trailer, I think?
No.
no, it was like
Nigga,
an old Victorian style house.
She
with
was
a beautiful home.
she was a Victoria's Secret model, and she had money, but she was fucking crazy. She got locked up for tax evasion, and it was so sad. But you know what? It's part of life. But I used to flood all these Amish niggas with mad drugs out there, and I used to run. You know, had a
The
good
Amish
time.
Mafia.
So they try to tax me. Those
So I go see him. Then I go back on Thanksgiving. I remember this vividly. So I go back on Thanksgiving. We have Thanksgiving dinner there.
Yeah. Oh my
and
God,
I
the
pulled him
whites-
aside. We walked outside. And I'm like, listen, you're out of here. This is it. I don't want to see this anymore. It was
3
just
hours,
you know.
3 hours away from anything.
So she was going somewhere one night. And you know it's about 3-4 hours away. She was going somewhere one night. I got Maddie Blue Eyes. We got a van, and when she left, we were waiting in the bushes. We rolled up with the van as soon as she left, and we just emptied out everything from the house,
could, right?
put it in the van. I remember we had so much stuff in the van that Maddie Blue Eyes was sitting with Ajax on his lap. That's why we called it
I left
Operation
all
Ajax.
my
And-
grandparents' furniture. In the
Everything,
house.
and we just jetted. We went to New York, and then we recorded a demo. And that was the first time we recorded Danny Diablo music up in Poughkeepsie with
So
UW.
it
Shout out
was
to
all
G-Fella
about a
Grizz.
vaginal intervention.
But this is crazy because before that I did 2001 a Thug Odyssey demo.
The demo, yes.
Yeah, for Skarhead first. So, but listen.
Yes.
So when I first went out to 2001, I was like, oh, whatever, and I bumped into these guys. It's just so great. I was giving out the demo. I gave a demo to him in a cartoon, and it's some fucking crazy thing. It was like Rick Rubin, Chris Rock, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Mila Jovovich. It was a crazy thing, and I bumped into these guys, and they're like, oh, this guy started talking to me. He looked like I was crazy.
Sounds like a therapy group.
We were
session.
talking. We were talking. And then all of a sudden, my poor dad met Risky, and we all started talking. So I kept going back and forth. Then for you, You start talking to him, then we shots, and then you could
Skid
get rid
Row.
of us. Could get rid of us.
The gun club, yeah.
Yeah.
So when we started building the profile for Danny Diablo, which was a whole brand new thing, we had to do images and whatnot. So again, I called Estevan. We flew out to Los Angeles. We went back behind. But at the time, I will say this, because things change. And look, it is what it is. You don't want to hate on. I'm not going to say anything bad about gentrification. I'm for beautifying things. I don't know if I'm for gentrification, but I don't hate on people that try to make something look better. And when I first went out to Los Angeles, we were down by the LA River, and we were, off 6. We were in areas down there that it was just warehouses, and it was really run down. And these guys were the first artists that went into a warehouse space and blew it up and created some culture. And, now that area that you guys were in is like the hottest spot for art companies and all that, right? I mean, it's like, you want to talk a little bit about what you saw change in the past 20 years there real quick? I mean, not to digress too much, but.
Yeah, what we had was called SA Studios, and it was right at 6th and Mateo, which was an extension of Skid Row. And it was right at the beginning of the 6th Street Bridge, which got demolished, and there was a large encampment that lived underneath the 6th Street Bridge. So every day people, homeless people would be coming and breaking into cars and shit like that. And then we met one of the local homeless guys. He looks kind of like if Brad Pitt got strung out.
Pepper?
Pepper.
Pepper? Yeah.
Shout out to Pepper on Skid Row.
Yeah. You can see Pepper in the Everlast video, right?
Yeah. So he was and also too, he was one of the only white guys down there. So I became friends with him, every day they come by, hey, let me get $1, let me get $1, let me get $1. I'm like, man, here, take 10 and don't ask me for 10 days, So
Next
I
day,
became friends with him and became cool with him. And I was like, hey, do me a favor. Let me know who's breaking the fucking windows in here because, we want to talk to them. So, because you catch sometimes guys doing that shit and you catch them when you were ready. So it's kind of cool, You could get like instant gratification.
Yeah, that shit out.
But, it was kind of cool when you could have somebody from that community that was respected to put the word out here, hey, don't fuck with these guys shit.
It's almost like the hardcore scene.
Yeah, it was kind of like,
street shit.
Well, downtown, if a car got
their
robbed,
representation.
you could go to St. Mark's and 2nd Avenue and pretty much find your shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
On 2 separate occasions, that's how we found shit that got stolen and busted.
But
It's got to stop. I mean, how do you make your thing work? You gotta get something going and have a dialogue with the people on the streets, because if not, it's just going to keep happening.
It's got to be good or bad. You got to either make a good relationship with them,
Has to be addressed.
or something has to happen to bring awareness to it.
How did
Somebody
it end
needs
up
to get
wrapping
hurt.
up with those guys? Were you able to kind of...
The homeless guys?
Yeah.
Oh, we're cool with all of them. Like we became part of the family down there,
And you guys had all the people that for SA Compound was a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, like one key part I remember when we went there. You and Toon had Joker. And Joker made it to the East Coast.
Shout out to Joker. Just still go. Listen, I was so happy. I was so happy to be I'll be on the East Coast with Joker shit. People like, yo, what the fuck? And I was like, it was a cool thing. And then I shot ads for him. It was like it was good to me. It was like almost like my culture from Queens, New York City. Then boom. Then I moved out there, and it was even crazier because I took like the West Coast flavor with the East Coast. I mean, it was all cool, man.
Yeah,
I learned a lot of shit from you, bro.
There was a lot of common ground between. You see how these guys were operating out there. You go to L.A. and you think, Hollywood. You think actors. You think, pompous music people, fake tits, blondes and all that. And then you're here and there's this culture, something that's rich and something that has to do with art and something that's to do with photography and music and it's a street culture thing, So there's an edge to it. It's also dangerous at times, And that kind of was what we had over on the East Coast. And it was like a little, it was a cool marriage. Whenever we hung out, it was like fam.
It was awesome.
I went to Japan with these guys once. Yeah, we were in Japan together, and back then, mushrooms were legal. They gave me a whole bunch of mushrooms in a can like this. With this guy was like, all like to me, cartooning him. It was just hilarious shit. One after another. Oh, it was great shit.
That was one of the craziest nights. Like,
What do you remember about that?
Me and Danny Danny and Donnie have done a lot of cool little projects. Like sitting here, I think about fuck yeah, like not just because he's here and we're here, but one of my favorite album cover photo shoots and packaging jobs I've ever did, like assembling the photos and the artwork and doing the whole layout.
Oh, that's a great looking,
Was Danny's album
Hellcat Records.
We did the photo shoot, the logo, the packaging. We did everything.
It was cool as fuck.
From scratch.
Yeah.
And to me, the way it looked, because he was just cool about it, he was just like, yo, do you, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I was like, oh, for real? Because now I can shoot the most, gangster pictures of a
Those
real
photos
motherfucker.
that's like
gold.
that's probably the best photo shoot of yours. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying,
Gold.
as far as people remembering that era specifically of like you, it's very distinct. It's awesome.
It's like 2006.
2009?
No, it was before that.
No,
What year?
Because
like
I was
04.
Was it?
when you shot the photos, it was about
Yeah,
04.
like
'cause that
04,
album
'cause
sat,
you were like-
that album sat in limbo until 2007.
So
I come home.
Yeah, it was a long time. Yeah, because
Where were you?
I was on vacation.
Where'd you go?
I went to California, Pennsylvania. I was in college, dude. You know that. Stop. My grandma's listening.
Since we're talking about back in the day stuff, I want to go to Eddie for a second, and I just want to ask Eddie about the two classic Leeway records, of course. I mean, how are we going to not ask about Born to Expire and Desperate Measures? Eddie, any memories to you about recording those albums, or maybe something that
But we recorded up in Rhode Island, Warren,
Normandy
Rhode
Sound, right?
Normandy Sound, fucking homeboy, right?
It was a place that really did more mainstream music until we went up
New
there.
Kids on the Block.
Yeah, New Kids on the Block.
Wow.
What's the
New
character's
Edition,
name?
New Edition, New Kids on the
Edition
Block.
as well. But then like Jay Giles and these other guys used to go up there too. But we were the first band to go up there, and because of the guitar sounds that Tom Soares was able to record, everybody in New York ran up there.
Yeah, we did Arctic Crown Dawns.
The sad thing is the reality of the situation now, and I'm going to put motherfucker on blast.
No,
right
please
now.
do, because I do want to ask you why the titles aren't on streaming, so I would love to.
I'm going there.
Oh, yeah, please do.
And I know some people are friends with Tom in Belgium, Reality Records.
I don't know
He and AJ put and reissued this music without the proper legal means.
You?
Not me.
No, I'm saying but they didn't ask you.
They didn't go
No,
through.
they didn't even ask me. I was kind of like had to go along to get along.
Let
And
Eddie
that's
tell
why
me
I
that-
got pissed off. But recently, whoever owns the rights to these records that bought them from Profile, they want these albums buried. But once they found that Tom and AJ put these up on Spotify and iTunes illegally, they had it all shut down.
Okay, gotcha.
So AJ's not online. You know what I mean? He's a Christian, so he thinks the internet is the devil.
It is.
You know what I mean? So between that and Tom not having the balls to face me and then waiting until I leave his country to announce the pre-orders for Open Mouth Kiss, I got a big kiss coming for him.
Yeah, it's just crazy that you can't hear those records.
But this is what I'm doing.
Talk to him. He'll reissue them.
Because we can't get the rights to these recordings and get them back online in time. I'm recording a live album to release some of these songs and get them back out there because you can't stop a new recording.
Yeah, it's not the master.
And,
Right,
and I'll make sure they get their publishing. I'm not looking to hump and chump somebody. I want to do this shit right. I want to do this shit right.
You give people publishing.
So
right?
everybody, how about that?
Oh, wait. We say my publishing? Listen, I want to tell you one thing like this. Yeah, listen, I don't give a fuck.
He was the easiest dude to manage because there was never publishing splits.
No, listen.
They were like, "What about my publishing?" I'm like,
publishing, nigga. I live this life. You're home doing nothing. Shut the fuck up. All right, when publishing, talk to me in the room over here. We're talking about publishing. So when he said the guy did to him, I do that to a lot of niggas, and I still get my fucking publishing.
Hey, but at least you're up front.
he was up
There's a
front. I will
difference
say that
about
about you.
being
You're
up
not like the
front.
guy from who does it this way. You go right up front.
Yo, you want 10 T-shirts? Shut the fuck up here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eddie. We were just gonna say that.
Be up front about it. Don't be a sneaky bitch.
No, yeah.
You know, that's the bottom line
But
here.
you know why you probably had part it bothers you so much because you're part of the time in your life when you need the money, you probably was pissed off.
Well,
Well,
I don't even want the money from Tom anymore.
I'm-
I just want to shut his ass down, and I'm going to tell everybody. Every time somebody hashtags me with one of those fucking records, I say, hey, congratulations, you bought a fucking bootleg. And then I tell them the story how he didn't have the balls to face me when I played that Belgian fest, and he waited until I left the country to be a sneaky little bitch.
Well, because it's kind of like
Hi, Tom!
it's kind of like
oh,
a
you can picture Skarhead records on reality records. Skarhead's on reality records.
But I knew Danny. But when I did the Skarhead recordings with Danny, I didn't have a problem with that. I didn't ask him where's my points or anything like that. He was giving me an opportunity just to go up and shine.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
he
a
gave
fun
me the
record.
opportunity to do soulcraft and show people that I could lace the shit out of
And you
Bad
killed
Brain
it.
Soul.
That was a fun record.
you killed it. It's
well, and I'll say this
It's a
too, because
part of my life, too.
obviously, Eddie, you're working with new music. You have a new single out now called
Yeah.
I'm Your Pusher and stuff. It's obviously
hard
like
as
it,
fuck.
it
I love
works
it.
as like a disservice to you too, because you're trying to tour and kids can't discover these
Exactly.
old songs, right?
So now I've got to clean up everybody else's fucking mess. But I'll do it.
No, that's
I'll
cool.
fucking do it right. And that's all I'm trying to do.
that's awesome.
that's all you
You
can
know,
do, bro.
they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They'd
They
rather,
definitely don't
they'd
give a fuck
rather-
about the fans.
And that's another reason why I broke this band up for good in 06. They had no respect for our fan base. They forgot that they were misfits and fucking outcasts when they first came to this thing of ours. But now you're a fucking rock star. You think you're better than everybody else? Bafangul with that bullshit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm doing it right. And I can't make everybody happy. I make enemies, but it's one enemy for every 10 friends. Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it, motherfucker.
That's
Good ratio.
Beautiful.
That's a good ratio. What do you think your enemy to friends ratio is?
I might have one enemy, and it's on
A
the
girl from Seattle?
No, no.
a girl who dance, skinhead dance.
No, listen.
Damn.
I want to tell you something like this. Right?
Whoa, whoa.
Listen.
Whoa.
I had very rare people have beef with me. It's easy. It's here and here. Listen, G, if you got beef with me and you talk all the shit with this, go. I'm on the computer. I say where I am, and it's not that hard. Go to Instagram. I'm always playing here and shoot me there, right? But no one's gonna do it. Have I had recent beef with people?
It's a little comical, but go ahead.
Have beef with people? I'm how can I say? I belong into something that it's like I deal with people. If it's real beef, it's real beef. So, and I'm just saying, like, if I got beef with someone older than 25 years old and he wants to fucking cause harm over some stupid shit, first of all, it's not gonna happen. But second thing is, like, if you get in a fight now, I tell you, it's lawyers, and then if I hit this guy now and he falls down, hits his head, he might die. Or if I fight someone, I know my back's gonna be out for 2 weeks. I can't go work. You know what I mean? I'm gonna fall.
Too many
Yeah,
repercussions.
it ain't
Is that right?
2000.
But then again, and you see these dudes wherever, like I'm trying to tell a story. We tell the story about Seattle first, but I'm trying to tell a story about my life and where, like I'm saying, like where we're from. There's a lot of people in our world and music, arts, but a lot of people are real people, and and it's sad because the real people you really can't do business that much because they really fuck it up. So and then there's people. You look at me, asshole.
No, I was thinking of name. I was thinking of a name, not you.
No, listen. So then I love you, Doc. But then there's people who are like young kids, and then the older people hate the young kids. But you gotta, especially you do business, you gotta work with those people. So whatever. So back in the day, it's hard to find a photographer, but now everyone's like, I'm a photographer. It's like when you. Everyone thinks a photographer because this. You mean? It's like I see people like, well, I got the new thing. I'm like, yo, nigga, I got a gun. I'm not a sharpshooter. What the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm saying, so chill the
Amen.
fuck out. Amen. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Look, even with me, I'm the smallest man out of the game in New York, and people want to talk shit with me. But do they show up at a show and carry out what they say?
Because
Never.
you're the type of guy to put lie in someone's coffee when they're looking. That's why.
No, but
You gotta watch out for that nigga right there.
On
Stab you.
season
Oh,
3 of
I-
You, Eddie Leeway.
hey, I've been on tour with Danny. I just happen to be very resourceful
But you
and
took-
fucking quick.
Yo, you
So it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna do
Eddie
it with
Leeway.
you.
Yo, Eddie
But I
Leeway. and people, Lord willing, I leave for 5 minutes to go to the hotel to talk. I say, yo, watch these niggas. All of a sudden, Diesel gets hit in the head with jumper cables. Diesel street.
And then somebody put me in a sleeper hold, and that dude got stabbed twice in the leg.
Yeah, he stabbed. That's Skarhead shit, nigga. That's Skarhead shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're all friends.
My van.
And we
My van.
Yo, in the van.
If you're gonna dance with the devil, dance hard. Or go home.
But we talk about the beef.
What beef?
We talk about crazy stuff.
Skarhead beef.
I
mean, it's
Can I
funny.
tell the Japan
tell the
story?
Japan
I'd
story.
love to
Tell
hear
the Japan story.
I don't know the guy's name, so we don't have to say it.
That's
But
fine.
Well,
like he said, we were tripping in Japan. In Japan, in this
Club, right?
What knows?
Harlem.
Like a kind of like a hardcore bar where they it's
Like a karaoke?
No,
No,
hardcore music.
Yeah.
Like they play punk rock and all that, you know. So me and him are kicking it in there, and we're drinking and whatever,
we're
just
fun.
hanging out. And he starts telling me this story. He's like, "Yeah, man, there was this one time, this big dude came up to me, and you know, I just had to fucking floor him." And I was like, "Yeah, what happened?" He goes, "Well, you know, I just reached back and came from New York City on him and punched him in the face and
using a cold, shit.
broke his bone that holds his eye in.
His eye socket.
So his eye droops now.
He was in a coma for 2 days, but it was
Yeah.
a beef. That's a real beef.
So, but it was, you know, man to man, you know, hand to hand fight. It wasn't like, you know, he came with 10 homies and they jumped him or nothing like that. It was just like, you want to get some? Let's do this. So he did it. Big D right here. And put that motherfucker on his back. And then, so as he's telling me this story,
Hey,
we're in Japan.
We're tripping.
In Japan, right?
While tripping, Mike.
He's telling me this story, and right when he finishes, I'm looking at him, and he's looking towards the door, and he goes, "No fucking way." And I go, "What?" He goes,
Yeah, but the guy was pushing everyone. Remember?
"Yeah." He goes, "That guy that I was just telling you about, he's here." Fuck out of here. No way.
Yo!
I mean,
Yo, he
and we're in Japan, right? So most of the people in
He's a
Japan
big dude,
are
he's like 6'4".
most of the people in Japan are Japanese. This guy is a black guy with dreads, like 6'4", maybe 250. You know, comes walking through the crowd, and you could see him because you could see over everybody's head.
Full head over.
Walks up to Danny and goes, "Hey, what's up, man?" You know, they shook hands. Like, you know, they got over it. It was like a men thing.
How's his eye?
It was a little bit,
A little droop.
had
Little
a
bit
little sag
low.
to it. But it was a trip, man. Like, what's the fucking odds of that you're in Japan
Happens.
and
so-
he's telling
But
a
that
story,
happens to you all the time.
and the dude that he fought in New York like 10 years ago
Ends up.
walks through
But
the
you know,
door and they shake hands.
If I wasn't around you when
Oh.
shit like that happens, it would. I've seen it.
You
It's
see the people
yeah.
come up there.
It's crazy.
I'll be all over the world. People like,
Yeah.
they'll be like, yo, I'll talk and be like, Isaac. I had one person I was going by the Coliseum in Rome, and I'm with the band Skarhead. And all of a sudden, the guys in the togas that hang out there, he goes, Isaac, he knows you. I said, nigga, stop playing. He's like, I was at your house 1995 with dinner with your mother. It was my boy's boy. He ate from Italy, and we couldn't stop laughing. He was, I came to the show in Rome. How crazy is that? But always, I'll be like walking somewhere. I was all fucked up. I was in Vegas. And all of a sudden, I'm like, yo, I'm like, yo, I'm fucked up. And it's daylight out. It's nighttime, but it looks daylight out. I'm like, fuck this bitch. All of a sudden, someone's back there here. Someone like smoking. And like, the thing is also like, Isaac. His head's is Everlast. He turns around. Isaac.
Holy
He's by himself.
fuck.
He heard my voice. I was like, oh. Yeah, it's just so funny. But I go anywhere in the world, every fucking airport, people in the airport. One time a guy in Spain stopped, and I was with Slane. I said, Slane was like, let's have a thing. Who gets the most people recognized? I said, nigga, come on, you're in Europe, nigga. So he's like, yeah, one. I had 17. The airport guy was like, pulled from Spain, pulled out. He's like, Danny Diablo, why you here? I said, Danny, I'm doing Danny Diablo. No Skarhead.
No Skarhead.
Yeah, I was like, shut up, Danny Diablo.
Real fan. Like
Yeah, real fan.
true purist.
Talk about
fan.
Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah. So
I threw a guy through a window that time.
I mean, it wasn't the guy I'm going to talk about, but so on
Tell
tour.
the truth.
I'm going to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing. Where's the book, the Bible? I'm gonna tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
In that fucking thing.
So look, that tour it's the lineup was Little Tony on bass, Mitz on guitar, me on drums, Danny and Puerto Rican Mike singing.
Ooh, that's a wild one.
So it was good.
Roadies? What roadies? We have roadies?
No, I think we did it ourselves. It was
Where
us
they got
swapping.
the story from Usual Suspects.
Swap driving. We were openers for VOD. Shout out to
Shout out to
VOD.
him.
Yes.
And Candiria was on the tour with us. Awesome guys.
But shout out to VOD and Candiria.
Shout out to VOD and Candiria. So look, a lot of stuff happens on tour, and for me, I try to focus on the female side of things.
Yes, yes,
so
yes,
at the end of the night,
but back then that just came.
Listen, I'm gonna say what we were in before we got to Seattle. We were in Canada. We go and me and me and E. We played that upstairs bar in Toronto, and it's like we go to the bar, and the hottest chick in the bar is the bartender.
Yeah.
So me and E are looking at each other, and it's like one of us is taking this down tonight.
Not Puerto Rican.
So no, not Puerto Rican Mike. So we're flirting with the bartender,
I know, Mike.
and seeing who's getting the edge in, and like Candiria's gonna play, VOD's gonna play, so we got time. And the bartender comes over and hands me a drink, and she goes, "It's on the house." And I look at E like, "Yeah, motherfucker." And then all she goes, "It's from your friend at the end of the bar." So E looks at me and goes, "Yeah, motherfucker," but it was a hot fucking chick at the end of the bar. So I took off, boom, boom. So I did a lot of escaping, right? Yeah. So one night I'm ready to escape. I'm sitting in the Tiki Bar in Seattle. We just finished playing a dope show. I think I was like cooped up with Kennedy from VOD, and it was two girls, and we were ready to close the deal, go home. And all of a sudden, it's almost like when a bag of sawdust comes out of the fucking, it's just you just see it, right? And it's just throwing down, and I just it's another one of these nights that's gonna end the way I don't want it to end. So I go outside and E's squaring off with this dude. And basically what happened, long story short, is this guy was some rocker type dude, and his girl was like really feeling Danny and just kind of flirting, talking with him.
I was being nice.
And yeah, you're always being nice. It's honestly like I've seen enough of these to know how it goes down. So the dude wanted to try to make Danny feel small. He called you Daniel.
No, he goes, what's your name? My name's Isaac. And the girl was like, really? He said, no, my real name is Danny. She was like, he goes, oh, I heard you DMS. I was like, that's nice. This before internet and shit like this. So but
yeah,
what did he say?
He called you.
Bye, Daniel. I said, my name's Dan. He goes, whatever, fucking Daniel.
Yeah.
I said, all right.
Here we go.
So we go outside.
I gotta settle this.
And he brings, unfortunately for him, he brought a friend thinking that like that mattered. So they get into it, and by the time I get outside, it's a couple of them, and dude gets tossed through the window, and at that moment, his girl. She I usually tell the story the way I tell it, which is the fake way, which is a girl taps on his shoulder and says, "Can I have your autograph?" And Danny turns around and but the truth was she was coming at him with a bottle because he threw the dude through the window. But it was definitely one of those situations where he hit her. He clocked her.
I've been stabbed a couple times.
Listen,
I'm not gonna stab
when it comes from behind, right?
It was war.
And you're in the middle. You're in the middle of it. When it comes from behind, you're in the middle of it. You're not going to check to see the sexuality of the person that's grabbing you.
What would happen to me now if they did that?
You'd be on the front page of every freaking women's magazine. But the cool thing about it was the way that she caught air. I was a skater when I was little, so I like looking at this kind of stuff.
Like,
and she went like, yeah, she flattened out, right? Like kind of like a reverse plateau, and she just stood there for a minute, and I was just like, wow, like the guy going through the window was, I seen that a million times. You go through the window, you land, it's nothing. But this shit, it was like, wow. And it just stayed like that for a minute, and I was like, and then she went. Wow. Lights out, tongue out the mouth like a fucking sleeping dog.
Wow.
I was 5 years old when I witnessed the first guy go through a bar window.
Where was that, Eddie?
That was 44th Street, 23rd Avenue.
Astoria is a fucking hard-ass neighborhood, bro.
Shout out to
now
Astoria.
it's whatever, but back in the day, that was some criminal dudes from Vietnam came there for cheap housing. So that's what I'm saying.
I literally try to turn the other cheek nowadays because when I went to stab somebody in the ass cheek, it wound up as tainted. He almost bled to death. I was facing $70K bail. So since then, I try not to get involved.
You're
with
like-
shit.
That's why you wanted that album money.
You like those Turkish niggas.
I'm not gonna
Yes.
box. I'm not gonna box. I'm gonna hit you with something. I'm not playing games here. I'm not here to dance.
No,
I don't have a fucking MMA ring in my fucking van trailer. You know what I mean? So leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to also talk about some
my
people
God.
don't know that Donnie and Isaac were developing a little bit of a reality show for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, I just showed Estevan some tape.
Yeah,
Oh,
whoever didn't get
listen,
that,
let's
they
talk-
lost out.
Listen,
That-
no,
that
listen,
was
we
the
almost
shit.
did it. Check the people in
TLC.
it. Listen, no, but
Well,
I-
tell a little bit. Set it up for me a little bit. I want to hear.
So all right. At the time,
what year was this, Don?
I was
This-
married and I had a kid. I
Yep.
have a kid.
You weren't married yet. You were about to get married. So
I should have never done that.
let's stick to
have
the
a kid,
story.
Let's
yes.
go back. Let's
I
just
got
focus on
married.
the show.
Let's
Focus on the show.
story. So basically, I was writing the Colombo book at the time, and I was working. Shout out to Ray who brought me the Colombo.
Shout out
book.
to Ray.
So Big Ray had worked in reality.
Did you say what
and-
year this was, Donnie? Sorry.
I think this is about 2011. 2000. When was Dillinger born? Dillinger was about 2.
8.
So 2011.
10,
It's about
10,
2011.
Okay.
So I had
It's man hot in here.
I had this idea.
time.
Basically, what was going on when I was going to visit Danny is like everything else, but this just became way more of a scene. But everything in his life was always like, man, you need a camera to follow you around. And at the time, reality shows were just kind of clicking off. So I'm going out to LA and I'm watching what's going on within a 3-hour period or a 4-hour period, and I'm just like, this is insane. I got to get a camera. So I talked to Ray, and we talked to Atlas Media, which is here in New York, big reality company, production company. And they were like, okay, we went in, I pitched everything. I think I shot some tape on you first. I go out to Los Angeles, and we created this eclectic cast of people that were basically the idea for the show was people that are covered in tattoos, but they're living a life as a family member. They have parents, they have kids, and they're married, and, they're going through their daily stuff. So the cast lineup was you,
Rick Thorne.
Rest
in peace, Triggs.
Triggs, rest in peace, and
Esther.
Esther Hanukkah.
Yeah, and Chucky.
And Chucky. Yeah. So we put this cast together and basically shot like a day in the life kind of a thing about the family struggles, and we made it to shop at TLC was like the final
They
calling.
liked it. We could,
They loved it, and then they
It's
took
like-
Honey Boo Boo. For real.
Is that for real?
That's for
They
real.
blew it.
Yeah.
That
Yo,
shit was crazy.
you know,
That would have been. That's
New York hardcore curse.
It was too real for
Would
reality
have turned
TV.
everything upside
It
down on
Yeah,
reality.
Yo, it would. The thing is, like, whatever. It's like anything else in life. It's like you live and learn. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, what's meant to be is meant to be. It was a great experience for me to kind of to work with him
with
on
those
that.
people too. You work
And-
with different people. Like,
Yeah, and all the families, like, I don't want to dive too much into this, but there was a bond that I watched at the time that Dillinger was born, from the time he was born, and all the time that Danny spent with him, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to capture that in the show, because when you look at Danny and you see him walking down the street, most people want to turn and go the other way. They don't really realize who he is as a person, and that's now, like we talked about, everyone gets tattooed. Like 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, they take a credit card, they go to a tattoo shop, and they get sleeved out. When I was younger and you were younger,
Yeah, it was
it was
not-
not
yeah.
like that.
it's only criminals.
So
sailors.
when you do see,
Tattooing was illegal in New York.
yeah, it was for many years. Yeah,
80 to
But-
89.
But when you see a guy like Danny, you're gonna have this preconceived notion of who he is and
Well,
what
listen,
he does, and a lot of it is true.
But the courts in fucking whack ass Northern California, they believe that
Right.
the thing.
So
fuck you.
There's a picture that gets painted for someone like that I wanted to disarm, and everyone that was
My
involved,
ex-wife?
everyone that was involved in the show had a look to them. But at the same time, I interviewed these people I selected these people because we interviewed a ton of people, but we selected these people because of the bond that they had with their children.
Yeah.
And that was the coolest thing for me about the show was like, these father-son, these mother-child relationships. When you're looking at her, you're probably thinking, terrible human being
Yeah.
because they put ink on their skin, and I just wanted to kind of break that border down.
What did you guys end up getting? One full episode done, or was just
great reel?
Yeah, we did a super reel, which is about like almost 10 minutes long.
Some of that real.
That's
cool.
He'll edit that
I'd-
thing.
Yeah, we'll drop a couple clips in. So if you're watching this on
Get the
YouTube,
girlfriend clip.
you'll be able to watch this.
I remember when you guys were trying to make that happen, and it was important to kind of show that contrast. That maybe we look like wild, extreme, scary individuals, but we're fucking human too, man.
Can I tell you something? For anyone in our world, especially not even the New York hardcore scene, but like graffiti, underground scene, like anything like gang culture, anyone they're like connected and they make it, I'm like, thank God. They're like, why? I'm like, because he's fucked up. He's fucked up just like us. I mean, because we all fucked up. That's why we listen to this fucked up music and we do this crazy stuff. That's how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they made it out.
So a lot of people hate on that. Like the world, everything's just prejudged how they think about stuff. Like these young kids, when I look at them, they're like, "Oh, this guy just because the dude's big and tattoos everywhere, he's gonna be scared." I mean, it's like weird shit.
The thing about the underground stuff that you see, and the biggest difference between that and something else that a kid gets involved in, for me, looking at a lot of parents and how they steer their children's lives, is that no parent goes to their child and says, "Hey, why don't you try this underground culture thing like lowriding or hardcore or punk? Why don't you go to a punk show?" Maybe now a parent would do that, but back in the 80s, my mom was like, "Go skateboarding so you can break your neck," or like go to a hardcore show at the Anthrax and check out the mosh pit. Like that was not happening.
No, they didn't understand it.
But the reason why is because the kids needed some form. I needed some form of escapism from what was going on in life. So when you say that, yeah, I stand by that, because anybody that makes it from an underground scene, whether it's the lowrider scene or if it's hip hop, whatever they're coming from, there's an escape that they were chasing, and they ran, and then they found something that became their life.
Especially before social media, because
yes.
these kids got it made with social media. Like,
Graffiti
we didn't
artists.
have that shit.
Oh my
we had
God.
to really work,
Well, everything's at the palm of your hand now.
Yeah, and like just to speak on what Estevan was just saying, it's like it's crazy to me too how many tools are available to kids, like, and they don't take advantage of the things. You know what I'm saying, or they take advantage of it in the wrong ways. Like I think about myself, who if I was like back 20 years ago and had all that shit, dude, I'd be unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have killed it.
Because you understand marketing.
Yeah, but I'm saying like my girl is 27 years old, and her sister's 22, and they don't talk. They go like this. You hear nails.
Texting.
You hear the nails.
And they're
I'm like,
sitting
bitch,
next
just
to each
talk to
other.
her. And they're right there. She's like this. Look, staring there like. I'm like, yo, bitch, just talk. I like human contact. That's what.
Yeah, I like to
talking
hear-
on the phone, like, hey. I like when I call Estevan. He has 4 different conversations. Stop every time he listens to me. I'm like, Estevan. Oh, yeah.
But that's me and Danny, we do.
Yo, listen.
Danny and I do this whole show on phone call, right? We don't text about shit. We do a phone call for the show. I mean, it's
This over the phone now.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I remember
We're conference calling.
I remember, and I would always, my impression of Estevan Oriol would be, he would have, and this is, it's a pre-internet day. He would have the camera, right? He'd have that here. He'd have the phone in his ear. He had a pager, I think, back then, or like a motor port.
amazing.
And he would just be like,
Sidekick.
and he'd be on the phone. He'd be like, "Yeah, hold on 1 second." Boom. And he's be taking a picture. That's right. Keep doing it. He's talking to you. He's talking on the phone. And he's checking the pager too. And he's like,
He would do that
"That's
all
cool.
the time.
That's cool." You were a communications
Multitask.
expert way before there was the internet. Way before.
You gotta get it in.
It's like flyers. Like it's like flyers where that's what the whole Rick Clayton thing was amazing. You know, like like you see the fucking fly. Someone there now they take something that's posted and someone else shit and they like you know what I mean? It's like
Well, theft is at an all-time high with the internet. The internet. I'll stand by this. The internet is like fire. Yeah. It can warm the home or it will burn it down. It all depends on how you use it. So what happens on the internet now, and especially for someone like this, is that it's so watered down and there's so many different places that things live. Theft's at an all-time high. There's no way to really, like copyright laws, you can't write them fast enough because every day something new comes to the scene that kind of bypasses whatever the copyright law was, because there's a new format or there's a new app or there's a new place on the app and whatnot. So, it's really tough. I would say, especially for the photography game, the internet's probably been a gift and a curse for you, but more of a curse because, not judging your age, but you are old school.
Yeah, 53. So, yeah, that shit is a nightmare, but, I gotta push through it like I was 20 years old, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking.
But you do. I
do.
think you do an amazing
You said-
job
you-
of,
I just
of
saw
staying
you-
Well,
relevant.
here I am in New York.
There you go.
Shout out to me.
Come on, hit a whole one.
Shout out to Contact High exhibition at the ICM Museum. Go check it out. It's film photography from the 70s until now, all on hip hop and all by the old school photographers. Everybody was out there last night, but it's just a sick thing to see if you're into music culture. You can see because what people got to see of music culture back in those days was what we were showing them. You only saw photos from a publicity photo shoot or an album cover or a magazine editorial where they were doing an interview.
That's fucking crazy.
And all you saw was maybe 20 guys in that culture's photos. And that was the only way you got to see what the hip-hop culture looked like.
Yeah, that became the history.
And now it's like, Rihanna can post 10,000 photos on her Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's...
But shout out to Rihanna because she wore one of your shirts.
Oh, she killed
Yeah,
it.
my girl looks like a white Rihanna.
And Debbie Mazar.
Yeah.
And Debbie Mazar put together, and they had Rihanna fucked Debbie Mazar, and Mila Jovovich jumped in. They're my girl. Shout out to Storm.
Yeah. But
So we're just about in that home stretch of the last part of the show. So let's just go through. I want to
What else?
I want to plug the last thing. With Eddie, we were just talking about right before was that he is working on new stuff. Eddie, how did you end up meeting up with Laz and those dudes from El Nino? Because I would love to hear that story and tell us about the new single.
Gordon Ansis, his was actually Leeway's very first lead guitar player.
real,
A lot
boy?
of people don't realize that. He
I
was
didn't know
before
that.
I
Mike.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
When AJ and I decided to bring in a second guitar player, it was Gordon. Now Gordon was already in AF for a while there, Agnostic Front, and he started with NYC Mayhem. With Tommy Carroll
Craig.
and Craig Ahead, yes. So
Shout out to Craig ahead, Tommy Carroll.
Craig.
through Gordon, I met Laz, and his brothers were like the Limelight Romeos because they would be at Limelight every Sunday night, grabbing up girls and everything like that.
I was up in there.
So I always, I always had a really good friendship with them. I saw them do different bands, but then, El Nino
Yeah, it was huge.
happened and took off for him. Fast forward about 4 years ago, Gordon reaches out to me, and I went into the city to meet Gordon and Laz, and they wanted to start this management group called G&L All-Stars. And, we went to work then, and we were able to slowly rebuild what I was trying to attain again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the song is awesome.
Well,
Sanity?
well, some sanity.
DJ Lord Jewish, put a little sample
Same
of
meds.
I'm your pusher,
Little more
please.
sanity.
I mean, Eddie, this song is awesome.
Well, you also got to give Dan DeStasi credit because he was my
Shout out to
collaborator
Dan.
with this.
Tell me a little bit about the track. Tell us a little bit.
Well, Pusher is about, being in a relationship with a significant other that's trapped through addiction. And you want to try to protect that person and not have them exposed to the predatory elements of the street. So you're willing to go out there and go get whatever you need to do to try to balance it out and to keep that person safe until you can get them help. And that's really what it is. It doesn't have to necessarily be about drugs, even though the chorus is "I'm not your pusher."
I saw you guys.
But it could be mental health. There's a lot of different things that we want to protect our loved ones over.
I saw you guys play Connecticut. What was that? Maybe like a year ago. It was about a year ago, and
Yeah,
you guys
you
played
both
it.
were there, okay.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I mean, just hearing this song and the lineup you had there was dope, and hearing
It's,
those
it's
songs.
very
was
hard,
really
and I
good.
give you a lot of credit because coming from an era of hardcore that the purists will look at and be like, it has to sound this way, it has to be this way. It's got to. It's very hard to go and write a new song that like purists can be like, man, that's fucking Leeway.
Well-
and you did that.
Well, I appreciate that. It's very important for me to show
Your vocals
people.
killed it, bro.
It doesn't matter who I'm collaborating with. I can still bring it. I'm still in touch. I'm not one of those bands that is doing the same fucking set every night and is afraid to write
Yeah.
something new
No, exactly.
because they know they're
They-
not going to connect with the kids.
They-
So they just do the hipster fucking same old every night.
Same first record. Like,
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not playing that game.
Are we gonna get more new music from you?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate-
There's a lot of things I want to do, like as far as getting the live release out, so I could get some of these songs back on Spotify and iTunes.
Right.
But I'm looking to now recreate a different form of crossover where I'm going to be going back to my youth, and I want to take 70s love songs with today's power and energy from our bands and
kill
our
it.
music. I can't wait. I
You kill
can't
it.
wait to get that opportunity.
You got like, that's something that I always said. I always wanted to do a record with you, and you showcase your vocals, but like.
Well,
Really
you guys
showcase-
did a track together, right? We have
On the
Little
Skarhead.
Jewish has a little.
we
with
did a-
Stress.
Yeah, what was the song called?
Oh, this is the shit that we did with what's his face?
Stress.
with Stress.
Years ago.
I never got a copy of this.
Me,
When I asked him, he was like, "It didn't make any money." I was like, "I just want to hear it."
Stress. Okay, listen. But a little louder.
Love the one you've been searching for. Been so long since I seen you smile. I'm the one you've been longing for. Baby,
How did this not make money?
Wait, listen.
This time I ain't gonna let you go.
Standout ballet on crack.
Wait, listen. Wait.
Burn right through your soul.
Now. Yeah! From the vaults.
So that.
Shit.
What do you remember about that song, Eddie? Just
That-
I remember the date vaguely. Go ahead.
Well, the master's still available. If
Yeah.
anyone wants to purchase it for reissue.
A reality records.
oh man.
But, yeah, right.
No, so that's cool. So, all right, so Eddie. So
Tom's ass on the table records.
Oh my God.
Esteban, so what are you in town for? What brings you to New York? Tell us a little bit about the show then.
It's a show on hip hop and
He
it's
just-
30
No, I
years
know, but
of
I'm
film
saying, like,
photography, and it's at the International Center of Photography on Essex Street.
That's awesome.
no.
It's a museum, so it's good for me, because not everybody gets to showcase their work in museums.
That's
so
sick.
That's
Shout
dope.
out to
Unless they
Vicky
use-
Toback.
Unless they use the museum hashtag on Instagram, then they're kind of in too, right?
Yeah. If they
Not
take
to
it
mention
with
the
their
perk
phone,
of a round trip ticket over here too. Right?
What else are you?
that was my miles.
What are you working? What are you working on currently, and how can everybody kind of like keep up with you and stuff too, man?
Well, I just put out a book called This is Los Angeles. It's
Awesome.
25
She's dope.
years of all the different genres of things I shoot in L.A. And I'm working on a new book of 25 years of low riding around the world.
Oh, that's sick.
And then I have a documentary coming out of it's called LA Originals. It's a me and cartoon. It's on
I can't wait to hear
Netflix.
see
It'll
that
be
shit.
on
no
South by
shit.
Southwest, like in March. So
Big
that's
up,
what
big
we're
up.
working on now.
That's really cool, man.
Always hustling.
Well, all those are done, so I'm working on the next shit. But I don't like to. Put
And
it
you're
out
still
there
shoot.
until-
You're still shooting stuff all the time, or
Shooting right now.
Yeah, I might shoot Danny right here. We got the
And we're
lights
gonna
set
do-
up.
Damn,
We
he's
got
gonna-
everything
he's gonna
ready
shoot-
to go.
can I get
Shoot,
in?
I'm gonna shoot you two guys with this in the
Awesome.
He's
background.
gonna shoot my girl this week.
How
Oh,
about
that's
that?
awesome.
Gonna
Yeah,
shoot my girl.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Storm. She's bugging.
Why?
She's like, oh my, she's her favorite photographer.
Okay.
When she found out that you're my boy,
okay.
one day she's like, oh, I love that guy's thing. That's my boy. She said, no, you did. I called. I said, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, she bugged out. Yeah, that's like she's bugging out right now. Actually.
That's
We
awesome.
gotta show her all of our old shit that we've
Yeah, nigga.
done. Joker campaigns I shot of
I
him
remember
worldwide.
those Joker photos are super famous. I mean, I remember. Yeah.
The boxing one.
Yeah.
I've always done one thing when we've gone and done shoots is even back then on the little film camera. I have pictures of me taking pictures
Picture
of
of
him.
him all the time.
Whenever he
That's
shoots,
cool.
I'm always
Yeah,
like
take
behind the
picture, yeah.
scenes. That's what a manager does to get the BTS stuff
That's
going.
awesome.
Yeah, and then I used a photo of him
Pitbull boxing.
Fighting with his dog. He used to put the boxing gloves on. Was that Ajax?
Yeah, Ajax. He bites the shit.
And they would both stand up on their back legs and really fight with him. These
Ajax
dogs.
And what would happen to me now if I did that?
He'd PETA, he'd get shut down. He'd be going to court.
How can he love dogs if he plays with them so rough?
Yeah, and like I used that one for a shirt. I said, I think I captioned the shirt like "Dog fighting is illegal." Ask Michael Vick. It was around then, and it was a good seller. You know, we made millions. That's awesome. But yeah, well, you know, it's been. I think. I don't know if I met you through Skinhead Rob, but shout out to Skinhead Rob.
Yo,
Skinhead Rob.
Yo, that was crazy. Skinhead Rob. They're like I always bugged out because I met him. I remember all together. It was like from then I met Muggs, everyone. And
Right.
it was like Soul Assassins and DMS, and we all would just hang out and just
Family.
have fun. We just like it was so cool to find people that would same like our East Coast culture, our New York City
But
culture,
kind of cut from the same cloth.
But gangs and we're different, but it's still we're like oh shit, and it was like. We all got together because we're the real New York City and they're the real LA niggas. I mean, so it was like
Base values.
and I learned politics out there real quick. So rest in peace, Paulie B. Rest in peace, the Rev.
Yeah.
Red, Pauly B, Triggs.
Rest in peace,
Rest in
Triggs.
peace,
Oh,
Triggs.
homies.
Yeah.
oh, such good, it's such good
We used to
people.
go, I remember we used to go out with G Fella. Remember when
Yeah.
the UW movement
Yeah.
was going? We'd come to the office and hang a shout out to G Fella. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good
So
good bonding with them.
now we're older. It's just crazy. Like the world we live in is like, but we're still doing our shit. And that's what's funny, bro. And life has beaten us down. But I'm talking about all directions.
yeah, trust
all
me.
directions.
But we refuse to stop.
No, yeah. It's like, if I stop, that's what happens. You know, when the guy stops working, my father stopped working. Right, he was every day. He stopped working. Got retired. He stopped. That nigga died a year after that.
Shark in the water. If he stops, he
my
drowns.
mother nagging for all these years. I don't know whatever it was, but something happened.
He's like, I'm fucking out of here.
I'm out here, nigga.
So, Donnie, what you been working on? Obviously, the book is available, but you've got a couple of things. You just wrapped up some short films. You want to just real quick?
Yeah, I just wrapped up shooting a pilot for a TV series. Working with a couple cool producers on that. Again, Ray Vanacore came in that
Shout out
brought
to
the
Ray.
Colombo project in, and we're shopping right now a feature horror film. So I'm kind of like left the music game behind, minus working with Concrete Dream and E on that project, and I'm just sticking to writing and film.
You know, if you're working with E, it's a lifetime commitment. So it's like
you don't get
Here's
to
every
With no publishing.
yeah,
Look,
with no
he doesn't
publishing.
even make eye contact with me right there. When he's talking. He doesn't even make eye contact with me.
How do I get in on this film? Do I need to show you my headshots or something?
You know, we do need a zombie. So
Oh shit!
Where do I sign?
He'll be right there in the morning with coffee. Like, what's up, B?
yeah,
Do you want me
Let's go.
with or without my teeth?
Him and cousin Joe, the teethless killers.
Oh man. Well, so on that note, I think we're gonna wrap this episode up.
Anything else?
No, that was it. We covered up everything, man. You know, I'm very.
So we're going to a strip club after this, right?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
the.
That's what. Listen, hold your balls, you're men. We're going.
Well, yo, I just want to say again to everybody, thank you so much for checking out the show. And Diablo's Den,
Lord Jewish.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe on YouTube. Join our mailing list on diablosdenpodcast.com. Shout out to my boy, Lord Jewish, for always holding us down. Shout out to Husbandry, who just sent the text. Eddie, the guys in Husbandry said they're huge Leeway fans. Just sent a text and said to say what's up. So,
Yo, tell them they want a song.
Thanks for having me today.
If
Really
they
had
want a
fun.
song from Eddie Leeway, come to me. But I'm his manager.
so yeah, everybody, check out Eddie Leeway's available on online. Check out all his
Upstate
stuff.
Records.
Yeah.
Upstate Records. They're
Upstate
playing
Records.
shows. Definitely check them out if you haven't heard the
In
new
New York, we're playing March 7th, Amityville Music Hall, opening up Murphy's Law.
Awesome.
We just locked that in.
Law.
Check out all Donnie's stuff coming out. Check out Estevan's stuff all coming out. Thank you to each one of you guys for joining us today on
Shout
Diablo's
out to Jay
Den.
Reason. Shout out to Yvonne for being creep in the back.
Yeah.
DiablosDenPodcast.com, guys. Make sure you
Diablo's
like,
Den
share,
Podcast.
subscribe on YouTube. Sign up on our email list. We will see you guys next month for episode number
Good
10.
night,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Queens all day.
Yeah.
I swear it was so hot.
Y'all making me hot. Oh, thank you.
Why send it to go put the time away to us?